one thing to say. There's never going to be another one like him again. Okay, the first word coming in, and this is from Dr. Manmohan Singh's official residence and his office. It's now confirmed that the funeral is going to be taking place tomorrow. The family is waiting for the return of one of his daughters who works in America. She's going to be returning. The rest of the relatives are also over here, but many of them are pouring in. Party leaders also pouring in. At 11 a.m., the government is going to be doing a cabinet meeting, and that is where they are going to pass an official resolution paying their tributes to the former Prime Minister. But getting us details of the funeral and the last rite is my colleague Arunima. Arunima, good morning. First of all, the official notification of the state mourning is already out. Can you run us through the details and what information do we really have about his last rites?
Right. Morning, Pallavi. Yes, I'm coming to you live from Dr. Manmohan Singh's official residence. All the top dignitaries are expected here shortly. And it's raining very heavily, but I'll still try and show you. Narendra, if you can just show them around a bit. There's heavy police bandobast here, heavy deployment. The route has been fixed. In about, half an hour from now, Union Home Minister Amit Shah is expected. And then shortly after that, Prime Minister is also expected to come and pay his last tribute. And therefore, the police men and women on duty here, even in the pouring rain, are ensuring that the routes are sanitized. Full media bandobast, and you're absolutely right. The government of India has already declared a 2-day mourning, which means that no official function will happen in these 2 days. The national flag will fly at half-mast at all top national iconic places, for example, the Parliament House, the Rashtrapati Bhavan, the North Block. And in this 2-day mourning, the country will pay homage to perhaps one of those prime ministers who made history in its own rights. The first Sikh prime minister to take that chair, the one who ensured that the nuclear deal came through. And also, before he became the prime minister, he was a man who made his mark in history as the finance minister of the country. So I think government of the day recognizes his contribution to nation building and has already declared a 2-day homage. The top leadership coming here shortly to pay their last tribute.
And about the funeral, I mean, this is something which we were also told by his office, is that it's going to take place tomorrow. Any clarity on what are really the kind of arrangements that are made as far as a state funeral is concerned?
So let me take you back a few years. Again, it was the 25th of December when we lost another Prime Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, another Prime Minister who was loved by the countrymen, and the countrymen were pouring, because they were quite upset with that loss, even though he had been ailing for some time. Okay, Pallavi, just give me a second. The policemen here are ensuring that the route is sanitized. So I'll just take a step forward. Yes, coming back to telling you the protocol that happens when a Prime Minister of India passes away. There will be a cabinet meeting, like you just told our viewers, and in that a resolution is possibly going to get the cabinet's nod about the former Prime Minister.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt you here. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt you here. I'm just going to go across to Mr. Manish Tiwari. Manish, thank you very much for speaking to CNN News 18 this morning. I remember you were very much beside him as an INB minister when he made that famous comment that history is going to look at me kindly. Can you just share with our viewers how is it that history is going to remember him?
Well, Dr. Manmohan Singh was a colossus, and he showed both the economic and the governance firmament like an absolute intellectual giant. Suave, affable, soft-spoken, but very firm. He was a person who was an inspiration, especially for millions and millions of young people who got opportunities as a consequence of his economic liberalization in 1991. And so therefore, Dr. Manmohan Singh's loss obviously is a great loss to this nation. May his soul rest in peace. Hello.
And also Manish, just to, and also Manish, You know, as an INB minister, you also had to kind of put forward the government's Manish,
Yeah, I can
as an
hear you.
INB minister, you also had to put forward, you also had to put forward the point of view of the government. It was also one of those testing and trying times, I would say. But if you could share with us some of the anecdotes, what is it that Dr. Manmohan Singh used to tell you? What was the advice he would give it to you as the Prime Minister, and the fact that you were very much a part of his cabinet as well?
Well, when I became Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Dr. Manmohan Singh was being subjected to a ghastly and unfair tirade by the collective press. And I recall, we were flying to Ludhiana, which was my erstwhile parliamentary constituency, for the convocation of the Punjab Agriculture University. So on the plane, I asked him that what should be our approach towards the media. And he gave me a one-line answer. He says our approach should be an essay in persuasion and not an essay in coercion. So therefore, even at a point in time when he felt, and rightly so, that he was being very, very unfairly treated, he still had the magnanimity, he still had the grace, he still had the fortitude that the instrumentalities of the state would not be used to browbeat the fourth estate. So that was Dr. Manmohan Singh, absolutely a gentleman to the core.
And you would never find him ruffled by all those kind of allegations against him. This perhaps is not the right time to talk about it. But you know, the Indo-US nuclear deal was something, his heart was very much in it. He was 100% convinced that this is important for the country. But he faced resentment from within. Do you have any idea how he would talk about it? How did he decide to tackle him? And what convinced him that this is the deal which we need to go for?
Well, Dr. Manmohan Singh, earlier in his career, had served as the economic advisor of the Department of Atomic Energy and Space. I think this was in the late 70s. And possibly it became a cardinal of faith with him that the nuclear apartheid India was being subjected to, which was holding back our potential to be able to even access nuclear power, which was essential for India's economic growth, was a severe handicap. And so therefore, in India's larger interest, he even staked his own government on the Indo-US nuclear deal. It's unfortunate that subsequently it did not come to fruition because, you know, of a very obtuse liability clause in the insurance law and the Nuclear Liability Act. But Dr. Manmohan Singh, I believe, was convinced that India must have access to as much of power as it could through whatever means, hydrocarbons, intermediates, renewables, because energy is what drives economic growth.
All right. Thank you very much, Mashish Tiwari, for speaking to CNN News 18.